Welcome to the Rimworld mod rundown. We'll be taking a quick look at what you can expect to see from Alpha Prefabs. For starters, you'll need to own the additional workshop content, vanilla expanded framework, and harmony. And whilst you can run the mod with just these two, you'll get significantly more when using prefabs if you have a more extensive mod list and official DLC. Okay, so first off, what is prefabs? It's a pretty quick mod to cover and you'll see a lot of the prefab buildings being ordered and placed in the video whilst I explain how it works. This mod includes a new structure and a delivery spot. Technically, there is a lot more going on underneath the hood in terms of additional parts, but that's only going to be apparent if you go digging around in dev mode, so don't sweat it. Upon researching microelectronics, you will unlock a new bench, located in the miscellaneous tab. As this doesn't work with builds or crafting, it's closer to a unique comms console. The delivery spot can be placed wherever you prefer, to avoid orders being scattered around outside of your base. So, how does this new bench work? For a somewhat niche reference, most likely only understood by those over the age of 30 and living in the UK, this bench is an Argos catalogue, minus the ballpoint pen that you would have used to circle all the things you wanted for Christmas. Whilst the bench itself doesn't need power, you will need some orbital trade beacons up with silver in the range to be able to place any orders. After all, payment does need to be taken from somewhere, and to build the bench, all you're going to need is 1 component and 15 steel. Selecting the bench and then opening the catalogue allows you to choose from 15 categories full of different prefabs. Everywhere from single bedrooms to hydroponics setups to fully decorated throne rooms. Now, here comes a large part of what will likely be a point of contention to some. The default mod settings place these rooms at 60% cost in terms of their material value.
I came here for a good argument.
No, you didn't. You came here for an argument.
Well, an argument's not the same as contradiction.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
So, if we use the most basic bedroom as an example here, you're getting all of these parts made out of wood at a normal quality for 261 silver. That's 19 walls, 1 dresser, 1 bed, 1 torch, 1 dining chair, a 2x1 table, and 17 tiles of wooden floor. Those parts take 334 wood to build manually, with wood costing 1.2 silver per piece, resulting in a final cost of around 401 silver, rounded up. So yes, you're saving money and time by ordering buildings like this, but you'll be losing money if you're buying buildings to deconstruct them, as you only get 50% of the materials back, without some other mods or memes like Scrapper anyway. Now, why am I mentioning this at the very top of the video? Simple, it's the internet. So naturally, there's going to be some people that are weirdly outraged by others enjoying this and deem that using it is cheating, when talking about a single player game that's already a sandbox and no one's actually being forced to use this mod. All I'm saying is that if the mod isn't for you, that's fine, but don't sweat its existence and others having fun with it. Yes, you could order a bunch of structures that use components, steel, plasteel or gold, and then deconstruct them for the raw materials, but if that's all you want from prefabs, it's much easier to use a trader customization mod and cut out the middleman. For those who like the idea of the mod but find the pricing a little bit too easy in terms of accessibility, you'll be happy to hear that it includes access to the settings that will allow you to increase the cost to 100%, or even higher if you'd rather pay more for the privilege of an instant building. Alternatively, you can drop it completely and live your best life throwing down entire bases in a matter of seconds. This mod provides a few great benefits. Firstly, if you're stuck in a rut of building 13 by 13 boxes of walls and never-ending square bases, it's a fantastic source of inspiration for new building styles, appearances and approaches to your construction. If you're a newer player, it's a really good source of learning for smart building habits, with pre-crafted hydroponic slabs, prison complexes, animal processing setups and many more entire production lines. This helps you learn how to avoid some of the things that almost all players will fall victim to when they start, like not putting your butcher table in a kitchen, avoiding stacking turrets right next to one another, doubling up on wind turbines to make the most of their forward clearance. It's things like that that you can really visualize with this mod, making it a surprisingly helpful tool, as you can sit and look over the build once it's established and work out how and why it works so well. That leads us on to how you actually make use of these prefab buildings anyway, as they're not exactly shipped right down to the planet in a single chunk, nor are they sent in IKEA flat pack. They arrive in a small prefab box, which will be hauled to the storage by default. These prefab boxes can be interacted with via a right click using a colonist. That will allow you to target where you would like it to be initially placed. It's best practice to select the prefab first and make a note of its footprint outline, as well as where the prefab sits within that. So for the example of using a small barn, you can see that it's 18 tiles across and 7 tiles high, with the center point leaning slightly further to the right. Using that, you can draw an 18x7 box on the map with the planning tool and then mark the center point. This will be now where you want to use the Deploy Prefab Builder drop-down option. Now you can see the box is opened up to reveal the
You can see the strain as the tentacles are pulling on them.
Welcome to hentai.
Burning.
And from here you can either choose Deploy the Prefab or reposition it if you're not happy with the location. Hitting the deploy button will instantly unfurl the room and boom, you're done. Now this is where talking about this mod is tricky, because you get significantly more mileage, and I really do mean that, if you're using a lot of other mods alongside it. The most obvious ones to suggest are the Vanilla Expanded series, other alpha mods, dubs, Altered Carbon, Dark Ages, Crypts and Tombs, and Erin's Cottage collection, but there are other mods that can offer prefabs too. Not only that, Zalcor released their own Prefabs Edition mod that includes many more mod integrations if you wanted to take this even further. And not only that, if you're using the Blueprints mod, you can click the export button rather than ordering prefabs, which allows you to place rooms as a blueprint in order to construct them yourself. Holy crap, that's a lot of interaction. And we're not done yet.
But wait, there's more.
If you're an enjoyer of Winston waves, prefabs can also appear as rewards, with some obviously being a little bit more beneficial than others. Here's looking at you, Kantarian Pillbox. It's why it's such a tricky mod to cover, because how much you get out of it is largely going to depend on how deep you're already wading into those modding waters. Let's say you're a player that keeps your list pretty well trimmed, because we all like a nice trimmed list, leaning more on the quality of life and visual enhancement side of things. You'll get something, but not a whole lot of prefabs, mainly just some design inspiration. If, on the other hand, your list is sitting at 400-500, maybe more, and you've grown tired of scrolling through your dozens of potential structures to painstakingly build yet another bedroom, this might just help you throw down an entire apartment complex and house your whole colony in a few simple clicks. There are some other mod options to mention, of course. It isn't as simple as just price percentages. You also have the ability to disable the whole prefab catalog building, which removes the need to build it. Of course, you're still going to need microelectronics for trade beacons. This just moves the gizmo button for accessing the catalog UI into the architect menu, under furniture. You can disable the research locks if you prefer to save up your silver to leapfrog the tech tree and order prefabs that you don't yet have the ability to build yourself, and the no mod locking mode is best left off. Otherwise the catalog is going to get really crazy really fast with a lot of things that you won't actually have the parts to build. Although it's useful to see what mod interactions you can gain access to if you want to go out and collect the whole set.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu!
It's Clefairy!
So, a bit of a shorter video than usual, but outside of throwing down every single prefab on the map, when you can already see what they offer by looking at the catalogue screenshot, there isn't really that much more to cover. I just thought I'd get this video out while I'm testing a few other bits and I'm working over some other scripts. Every day it feels like one of the mods I'm currently trying to cover updates, and I'm trying my damn hardest not to pull another Helixian. As for prefabs, it falls into the lists of mods I will throw on from time to time, and I mainly use it to grab inspiration. It's not something I really need to run in all of my games, but it's extremely useful when I'm setting up a colony for B-roll footage, and I want to design something that's more interesting than a standard cube. I would genuinely recommend that new players use this for a colony or two to help them learn best practice with base building. And whilst not all of the structures included are hyper efficient, they aren't counterproductive. There's a reason behind the way they've been designed, and it will help greatly in understanding why things work the way they do on the Rim. because after all, the game is so full of weird and wonderful quirks, most of us have only learned these things after literal hundreds of hours of gameplay. If you'd like to see the current suggestion list for mod rundowns, it's available to view on my Patreon page. All of the posts are totally free to read and it's pinned at the very top. You can support me in producing content like this from just £1 a month. It gets your name in the credits of these videos and it does help me stay alive. Thanks for watching, folks. If you have any mods you would like to see a full breakdown for, or suggestions of mods you'd like to see covered, feel free to leave them in the comments, I might get around to them. I'll be back again soon with another Rimworld mod rundown. Wherever you are in the world, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon or evening. Take care.